For Kevin McCarthy, 218 is the magic number. Those are the votes he needs to become House Speaker when Republicans take over in January. But with a slim margin, he is going to need every vote that he can get, and it's getting tougher. 5 Republicans have now signaled they plan to oppose McCarthy for Speaker. Meanwhile, while he was on the southern border yesterday talking about the GOP plans when they do take over the House, he said that they might impeach the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas if he does not resign first.
If Secretary Mayorkas does not resign, House Republicans will investigate every order, every action, and every failure will determine whether we can begin impeachment inquiry.
We have a plan. We've been putting that forward. McCarthy has no plan. The Republican Party has no plan. They do nothing except do political stunts.
We should note the DHS spokesman said Mayorkas has no plans to resign. CNN's Melanie Zanona is live for us in Washington. Melanie, we've been looking at these numbers from McCarthy, and it's not clear-cut what his path is going to look like. What is the conversation on Capitol Hill right now?
Well, it's all about the numbers game, Caitlin. As you mentioned, he needs 218 votes in order to become Speaker. And we don't know what the margins are going to be right now. But Kevin McCarthy is predicting he's only going to have 222 Republicans total in the House, which, doing the math here, means he can only afford to lose 4 Republicans in the Speaker's race. However, a 5th Republican just came out and said he is going to oppose McCarthy on the floor vote in January. Take a listen.
There are a growing number of us who have just lost faith in that McCarthy could do the job. And the Speaker is the most important position at this point in time in this country.
So what that means, Caitlin, is Kevin McCarthy is either going to have to convince one of those members to change their minds or convince them to vote present or not show up to the vote, which would essentially lower the magic number he needs to become Speaker. And Kevin McCarthy better hope that there's not more Republicans where those came from.
Yeah, we certainly know there's an effort to put more Republicans on that list. But Melanie, has McCarthy responded to this? And also, is there anyone whose name has been suggested to potentially take over if he doesn't ultimately secure the votes to become House Speaker?
There's a ton of names floating around. No one would outright challenge him. No one's serious. But there are, Steve Scalise, Jim Banks, Mike Johnson. There are names out there. None of those people would actually challenge Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy himself has been meeting privately with some of his critics. He's been making phone calls. He has not cut any deals just yet. I expect those will come in the coming weeks. But he is also trying to publicly show his critics what kind of leader he would be. As you mentioned, he was at the southern border yesterday. He called on Alejandro Mayorkas to resign. He threatened him with impeachment, and those are some of Kevin McCarthy's strongest comments to date on the impeachment question. And obviously his right flank has been agitating for impeachment, so clearly those comments were designed to win over some critics. Caitlin.
It is going to be a very interesting January. Got a few weeks ahead of them. Melanie, thank you so much for that update.
You know what I think we should bring in to talk about this? I think it should be CNN political commentator and host of CNN Smerconish. Luckily, his name is Michael Smerconish, because then that would be kind of weird. Good morning to you, Michael. So what is going on with Kevin McCarthy? You're talking about immigration, talking about all that. Does he have the votes? And also what he did at the border, is it a stunt? Should they be talking more about practical, real solutions to the immigration crisis?
Well, Don, I think it's all related. I think the reason that he's on the border is exactly because of this issue, his desire to be the next Speaker of the House. By the way, I think that Kevin McCarthy has the worst odds of being the next House Speaker, except for all the other Republicans, because you can't beat somebody with nobody. So when the question becomes, if not Kevin McCarthy, who, there's really no name that you can fill in the blank that you'd be able to herd a sufficient number of cats to get to the 218 or whatever the actual number might be, because they vote by surname. It could be 216, but I don't see anyone who could deny him, I guess is my point.
Wait. So you said he has the worst odds, but yet you still think he's going to be Speaker? Is that?
The worst, it was my weak attempt at a pun. He has the worst odds except for all the others, because
Okay,
I don't see anybody who's got better odds than he does.